So if you look at the life of Jesus, so much of what he did was bringing us into this concept of spiritual family, that we're not meant to be orphans, that we're not meant to be alone. And you can see that because, like, before Jesus, like, almost no one referred to God as Father. Like, it was very, very rare. But with Jesus, he almost always referred to God as Father. And that actually ticked off a lot of religious people. But that's really the heart of God, for us to come into spiritual family, to have a healthy relationship with him, and to know what it really means to have a good daddy.
It's seeing God through your relationships with other people. It's just an extension of that relationship, and there's nothing really that can replace it.
It's more than just like accountability. It's like not that at all. It's just this cultural like community of being able to be honest with each other and just loving on each other and taking each other for exactly who they are and who God made them to be.
There's no performance like in a family, because you know who they are, they know who you are. You don't have to like put on this front of like, oh, I'm like really spiritual, or I'm perfect, or whatever, because like your family, it sometimes gets really gritty, but you know, it's where you can just be yourself.
Family is like you're in it no matter what, and I feel like that just shows a facet of God where, like, through other people, like, there's nothing you can do that will make them stop loving you. And you know, that's really what spiritual family has become to me. Like, you're not afraid of making mistakes because you know that these people aren't here to judge you by what you've done or what you are going to do, or what mistakes you might make, but they're here to support you and to kind of propel you into your destiny. And it's just a safe place. It becomes a safe place where you can grow and where you can confidently walk.
We're not meant to be alone. We're meant to have people to lean on, people that impart to us, people that we can impart to, friends to walk with.
What it means to me is just like being able to like let like all my walls down. Like, everyone has baggage, but like no matter what that is, like it doesn't matter anymore.
It takes intentionality. Growing up in the Asian culture, it's easy to just kind of get the outward stuff right, you know, like go to school, get good grades, don't get in trouble. But like when you talk about like your inner struggles, or like things like that you don't want anyone else to know about, it's like family is like a place where you can deal with that, because you know, there's that unconditional love there where no matter like how you are, like people love you and want to like help you. And yeah.
Family, like, they're the ones that tell you those things that maybe you don't want to hear but need to hear, that maybe that other people won't. And because of that, we end up sharpening each other a lot and speaking a lot of truth into each other's lives, and really coming into understanding of who we are, because we're telling each other the truths about who we are. Because it's like, if you don't know who you are, and you don't have people that are constantly telling you that truth, then you end up like competing with one another in ministry to try to establish who you are and your identity, and that's not right. Like, your outflow of reaching people is supposed to come from like knowing who you are.
You don't time your family time. It's just like hanging out in the living room, but at the same time you're encountering God. Like one moment I'll be able to, you know, turn to my friend and say, you know, like, I feel like crap right now. Am I allowed to say that? I feel like crap right now, can you pray for me? But you're not saying, oh, let's, you know, get into meeting mode because now we have to pray.
It's just impacted me to like truly be myself, and like to not be afraid of the qualities that like I have and the passions that I have.
Ecospheres, which is when we just kind of meet like with one or two other people, has really like been something that has affected the way I live, and just like meeting together, not just to like have fun or just to chit chat, but to really like talk about stuff that I might not share with anyone else, but with these like brothers of mine, has been like really I guess impactful, and it's been really freeing too. It's like, it's kind of scary when you first try to like, I don't know, expose yourself, but then when you expose yourself, it's like, you know, you don't have to hide that anymore, and so you're free to be who you are.
We do the stuff, we pray, we read the Bible and stuff, but it's not like, oh, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And I remember one time we were just hanging out, you know, we just finished praying, but we were eating together, we were hanging out. And then, you know, before you know it, it's like 11:30 p.m. and we're like, oh, you know, like where did all the time go? But that's spiritual family, you know?
And just the way it comes out so naturally, it's not forced, like, I don't have to intentionally think like, oh, I need to say something spiritual here so that we can have a spiritual conversation, but it's just like talking about daily life, about like, oh yeah, today, like, I don't know, I was like reading my Bible and like this was really relevant to me, and then it just kind of like take off from there, and people would be like, oh yeah, that's like really cool because like I've been going through that same thing.
You don't do things to create who you are, you do things because of who you are. And so instead of competing, we end up blessing one another to go further. And it's just a really healthy environment where instead of fighting or having sibling rivalry and things like that, we're just secure in who we are and we just bless one another to go further. And collectively as a group, we just keep on growing because of that. And it's a really beautiful thing.
And I feel like it just translates God into normal life instead of separating it into church and secular. And it just breaks down those walls because it's natural.
It takes place wherever you go at any time. You don't have to be at church or in a church group setting, but whenever you're just with one or two other like brothers or sisters, it's a spiritual thing, you know, like sharing life.
It's just like unconditional love. Like no matter what I do, no matter what happens, like they're gonna love me.
And with community, it's oftentimes like similar, like something similar about them, like where they live or some like interests.
Yeah.
With family, it's like you can have totally different interests, but like your family regardless, and like you love each other whether like someone likes math or not, you know.
Or somebody who doesn't like that.
Yeah, it transcends that common element. Like it could be a Facebook community, you know?
Yeah.
Last biosphere we wrote like encouraging words for each other, but Hazel wasn't there, so like then we mailed it to her, and so she got it, and she was like super touched. She's like, oh, I miss, and like I love my family in San Diego.
I commented like this morning, I was like, I bet she cried.